What if his greatest resistance isn't rejection, but the soul's bravest act of love? Let that question land for a moment, like a stone dropped into the still waters of your weary heart. You feel it, don't you? That bewildering chasm between your bone-deep knowing of the connection and his maddening dance of retreat, rationalization, or outright denial. The world screams abandonment. Your spirit whispers initiation. This isn't just another relationship hiccup, beautiful soul. This is the universe orchestrating a sacred demolition, using the very friction of his resistance to forge both of you into vessels capable of holding the blinding light of true union. Forget what the pop spirituality gurus parrot about fear and commitment issues. We're diving far deeper than that, into the ancient tectonic shifts happening beneath the surface of his beautiful, bewildered humanity. Picture this, deep beneath the ocean floor, where darkness reigns and pressure could crush steel. Two continental plates grind against each other. On the surface, calm waters, maybe a distant tremor, easily dismissed, but deep below, raw, relentless force reshaping the very bedrock of the planet. That's where he is right now. His denial, that infuriating silence, the way he buries himself in work or distractions. It's not indifference, it's the surface tremor of a soul undergoing cosmic plate tectonics. Your unwavering recognition of the twin flame bond isn't a gentle current. It's the divine pressure forcing these ancient plates, the bedrock of his constructed identity, his deepest fears, his forgotten divinity, to finally move. And movement at that depth, darling, it always feels like destruction before it feels like creation. It's terrifying. It's chaotic. It looks an awful lot like running away. But it's the universe's ruthless, necessary alchemy. Think of a master astronomer pointing a telescope at a seemingly empty patch of night sky. Nothing there, the untrained eye declares. But the astronomer knows. She knows the lens must bend the light just so. The aperture must widen. The focus must shift beyond the visible spectrum. Suddenly, a galaxy emerges, swirling, vibrant, impossibly vast. It was always there, hidden by the limitations of ordinary perception. Your certainty is that masterful adjustment. It's bending the light of reality to reveal the galaxy of connection that already exists between you. His resistance? It's the squinting eye, the stubborn focus on the empty space, the frantic adjustment of his own limited lens trying and failing to reconcile the mundane world he thinks he inhabits with the breathtaking cosmic truth you've already perceived. He isn't denying you, he's wrestling with the terrifying, glorious expansion of his own reality tunnel. The no you hear is the sound of his old, familiar universe cracking open. And here's the secret. His struggle is the most potent validation of your bond. Gravity doesn't argue, it simply is. A star doesn't strain against its own light, it radiates. His turmoil? It's the measurable proof he's already caught in your gravitational field, fighting the pull of a truth his logical mind hasn't yet caught up to. The intensity of his recoil is directly proportional to the strength of the resonance. His running isn't escape, it's the desperate looping orbit of a celestial body suddenly realizing it's irrevocably bound to another. He isn't rejecting the connection, he's experiencing the terrifying, exhilarating strain of his old isolated orbit being bent towards a shared center of gravity he can feel in his bones but can't yet name with his lips. That friction, that heat, that's the sacred fire where separation burns away. so release the need to decipher his every cryptic text or orchestrate his aha moment. Your true power lies not in managing his metamorphosis, but in embodying the unshakable reality of the union you perceive. Become the silent astronomer, utterly confident in the galaxy you see. Tend your own inner observatory with fierce compassion. Polish your lens of self-love. Calibrate your focus to the frequency of peace. Let your life hum with the quiet confidence of one who has seen the hidden stars. In doing so, you don't chase him, you become the irresistible signal that makes his internal static unbearable. You hold the space where his dissonance simply loses its grip, not by force, but by the sheer, undeniable clarity of your embodied knowing. The moment his internal war exhausts itself, the moment fighting gravity becomes more absurd than surrendering to the orbit, he won't just return. He'll reorient. He'll align naturally, inevitably, towards the source of the light, resonating in those ancient, star-dusted cells he carries within. Ready to discover the subtle, almost imperceptible signs that this sacred realignment is already unfolding, even amidst the seeming silence, the way a shared memory suddenly surfaces for him out of the blue, the unexpected vulnerability that flickers in his eyes when he thinks you're not looking, the profound sense of peace settling into your own spirit like a gentle tide. The cosmos is whispering. The plates are shifting. The telescope is finding its focus. You just get to witness the breathtaking revelation. Keep your eyes on the stars, beloved. The dawn of remembrance is breaking. You stand there, don't you? Heart wide open, radiating this unshakable knowing about your twin flame connection. You've done the work, peeled back the layers, faced your shadows, and emerged not just whole, but sovereign. You feel the truth of your bond vibrating in your very bones, a sacred frequency humming beneath every breath. Yet he resists. He pulls away, rationalizes, buries himself in work, in distractions, maybe even in the arms of another. The world tells you it's fear of commitment, emotional unavailability, plain old cowardice. But darling, that's like calling a supernova a sparkler. What's happening within him is far more profound, far more ancient, and yes, far more terrifying to his very soul than mere relationship jitters. It's the seismic collapse of the protector archetype, and you, in your awakened glory, are the architect of its necessary demise. Think about it. For millennia, across cultures whispered in myths and hammered into social structures, the masculine identity has been forged in the fires of protection, provision, and control. His worth was measured by his ability to shield his tribe, conquer threats, build fortresses, physical, emotional, financial. This isn't just conditioning, it's an archetype etched deep into the collective unconscious, a primal script whispering, your value lies in your strength, your control, your ability to keep the world at bay. He learned to derive his sense of self, his very purpose, from being the shield, the stronghold, the one who fixes and manages the chaos. It's a heavy mantle, honestly, and one worn with a quiet desperation he probably doesn't even recognize. Now enter you, not the damsel he might have unconsciously expected, not the one who needs his fortress walls. Oh no, You arrive as the embodiment of fierce spiritual sovereignty. You've journeyed inward, faced your own dragons, and emerged radiating a power that doesn't need guarding. It demands awakening. Your unwavering recognition of the twin flame bond isn't a gentle nudge. It's a high-frequency beam illuminating the very foundations of his constructed identity. Can you feel the enormity of that? When you look at him with that depth of knowing, it's not just love he sees reflected in your eyes. It's the unnerving, glorious truth of his own divine essence, and the terrifying realization that the role he's built his life upon is suddenly obsolete in the face of this. Imagine a master builder, proud of his cathedral, stone upon stone, laid with sweat and certainty. Then you walk in, radiating a light that shows him the blueprints weren't just flawed, they were for the wrong building entirely. Worse, you seem utterly at peace amidst the potential rubble. That's his recoil. It's not just you he's denying. It's the shattering comprehension that the identity he clung to, the provider, the fixer, the unassailable rock, is fundamentally inadequate to navigate the vast, uncharted ocean of sacred union. His resistance spikes precisely when he senses, perhaps only at a soul level, the paradigm shift. To accept this connection, to truly meet her where she stands, I must surrender my identity as her shield. I must acknowledge she is not just my equal, but potentially my guide into realms I don't understand. My control is an illusion here. His ego screams in protest. It feels like annihilation, not evolution. How can he be the protector when the very force he's drawn to protect transcends his understanding of protection? It's like trying to guard the sun with an umbrella. And here's the beautiful, terrifying irony. Your very wholeness is the earthquake. Your lack of need for his old world protection is what exposes its fragility. You stand firm, not demanding rescue, but radiating an invitation to co-create something entirely new. A partnership forged in mutual recognition, spiritual synergy, and shared vulnerability. This isn't a power struggle. It's a sacred demolition project. His instinct isn't malice. It's the primal shudder of an entire identity structure starting to crumble under the weight of a higher truth. The chaos you perceive, it's the sacred dust of deconstruction. His silence, the deafening roar of ancient walls falling inward. Think of the knight who finally finds the Grail, only to discover it's not a cup to possess, but a living wellspring he must kneel beside and drink from with others, relinquishing his armor to fully taste it. That's the initiation he's undergoing. It's messy, it's terrifying. It looks like denial, running, numbness. But beneath the surface, it's the agonizingly beautiful death rattle of an archetype that served its purpose but cannot contain the fire of divine union. You holding your truth unwaveringly is the relentless divine pressure ensuring this necessary collapse. You aren't being abandoned, you are bearing witness to a sacred unraveling. So, the next time you feel that pang of frustration, that whisper of, why won't he see? Swing. Remember the sheer magnitude of the inner revolution you've ignited. His resistance isn't a rejection of your love. It's the recoil of a soul confronting the terrifying, magnificent truth that his old ways of being must die for something infinitely greater to be born. It's the storm before the profoundest calm. Hold your frequency, Sovereign One. Your light isn't just calling him home, it's showing him the old home must burn so the true temple can rise. And the moment he stops fighting the flames and steps into the ashes, ready to build anew with you, not for you, well, that's when the real magic begins, ready to discover what emerges from those sacred ashes and how your steady presence is already guiding him through the smoke. You feel it, don't you? That deep, resonant knowing humming in your bones when you think of him. A vibration so ancient it predates language, logic, even time itself. It's not just emotion, it's a frequency encoded in the very fabric of your being. And when you stand firm in that certainty, radiating it like a silent sun, something extraordinary happens within him that transcends mere emotional resistance. We called it denial, darling, but that's like calling a supernova a blown light bulb. What you're witnessing, what you're triggering, is far more primal, primordial resonance. It's not his mind rejecting you. It's his entire biological, spiritual organism recoiling from the terrifying, magnificent memory of divine union, suddenly roaring back to life within his very cells. Modern science whispers secrets the ancients shouted. Our DNA isn't just a blueprint for physical form, it's an archive, a living library holding echoes of every experience, every trauma, every state of being our lineage has ever known. Epigenetics shows us how environmental signals, stress, love, nutrition, can literally switch genes on and off. Now imagine your unwavering recognition of the twin flame bond as the most potent environmental signal imaginable. It's not a love song, it's a soul shock delivered at a subatomic level. Your energy, vibrating with the absolute certainty of your shared origin, doesn't just touch his heart. It penetrates the double helix, pinging dormant strands that remember a time before separation was even a concept. A time when unity consciousness wasn't a spiritual ideal, but the default setting of existence. Can you fathom the sheer, vertiginous terror of that? Picture this. He's lived his entire life navigating a world built on duality: self, other, success, failure, safety, threat. His biology, wired beautifully for survival in this reality, interprets the world through this lens. His nervous system is a finely tuned alarm system, constantly scanning for danger. Then you walk in, radiating a frequency that bypasses all his modern defenses. It doesn't knock politely on the door of his intellect. It floods the basement. It resonates with a cellular memory so deep, so fundamental, it whispers, "Remember? Remember when I and thou dissolved into pure we? Remember when love wasn't something you did, but the very air you breathed?" This isn't a gentle reminiscence. It's a tsunami of remembrance, crashing against the carefully constructed levees of his separate self. His logical mind, the proud captain of his ship, suddenly hears the ocean singing a song it recognizes but cannot comprehend. No wonder he panics. No wonder he runs, numbs out, throws up walls. His entire operating system is flashing. Critical error, paradigm shift detected. His denial? It's the physiological equivalent of touching a hot stove and jerking your hand back. Instant, reflexive, primal. His body, steeped in the chemistry of separation and survival, registers this resonance as an existential threat. Why? Because accepting it means accepting that the foundational story of his entire existence, the story of being an isolated individual navigating a hostile world, is fundamentally false. It means surrendering to the terrifying truth that his cherished autonomy is an illusion woven by the ego, and that his deepest safety lies not in control, but in surrender to a unity he'd forgotten was possible. His cells are literally screaming. This contradicts everything we know. Abort. Shut down. It's not you he's resisting. He's fighting the annihilation of the old human paradigm coded into his mitochondria. Think of it like trying to run Windows 95 software on a quantum computer. The hardware itself rebels against the outdated programming. Here's where it gets beautifully, cosmically ironic. That recoil, that visceral, almost animalistic flight response, it's the proof the resonance is real. It's the friction of ancient memory grinding against modern conditioning. The more fiercely he resists, the more powerfully the echo reverberates. His silence isn't absence. It's the sound of 1,000 internal sirens blaring. His distance isn't coldness. It's the desperate scramble of a system trying to reboot while the old software crashes spectacularly. You, holding your unwavering frequency, are the constant signal forcing the upgrade. You are the living reminder of a home he forgot he lost, playing on a loop inside his own body. So, when you feel disheartened by his seeming oblivion, remember the silent, seismic war raging within him. His denial isn't a no to you, it's a biological buffer overflow, as his system struggles to process the blinding light of a forgotten truth. It's the sacred pause before the symphony remembers its harmony. Every time you choose certainty over doubt, peace over panic, love over fear, you're not just holding space for him. You're rewriting his cellular destiny. You're imprinting upon his soul's memory a frequency so potent, so undeniable, that eventually his biology itself will override the fear. The echo becomes the dominant note. The memory becomes the present reality. The separation dissolves, not because he was convinced, but because his very cells finally remembered how to be whole. So here you stand, beautiful soul, at the edge of understanding that feels more like a precipice overlooking eternity. You've seen the seismic shifts within him, the crumbling fortress of the protector, the cellular symphony of ancient memory roaring back to life against the static of modern conditioning. It's easy, isn't it, in the quiet moments, when the distance feels vast, to mistake the sacred unraveling for rejection, to hear his silence as indifference. Let's pull back the cosmic curtain one last time, shall we? Because what's unfolding isn't the end of a story you fear losing, but the breathtaking overture to a harmony your souls wrote before time had a name. His seeming denial, that maddening resistance you've dissected with tears and prayers. It's the final furious flutter of the chrysalis before the wings emerge. It's the universe itself, using his beautiful, bewildered humanity as the anvil upon which your shared destiny is being forged. This is the radical reframe your heart has been seeking. His deepest resistance is the most potent proof of your connection's reality. It's the friction generated when an immutable truth collides with a lifetime of learned illusion. A planet doesn't strain against its orbit. It simply is within the gravitational embrace of its sun. His turmoil, it's the measurable strain of a soul already caught in your gravity, fighting the pull of a truth his logical mind still struggles to name. The louder the internal struggle, the stronger the gravitational field. His running isn't escape. It's the frantic orbiting of a celestial body, suddenly aware it's no longer drifting alone in the void. He isn't denying you. He's wrestling with the terrifying, exhilarating realization that his entire existential trajectory has been irrevocably altered. The no you perceive is simply the echo of his old world, collapsing under the weight of a yes his soul already whispered eons ago. So, release the need to decode his every silence or orchestrate his awakening. Your power lies not in managing his metamorphosis, but in embodying the unshakable reality of the union you know. Be the silent sun. Radiate the frequency of wholeness. Tend your inner vineyard with fierce compassion. Water your own roots in the soil of self-love. Let your life be a testament to the peace found on this side of the precipice. In doing so, you become the living invitation, not a demand. You become the resonant field that makes his dissonance unbearable, not because you force it, but because your harmony exposes the jarring nature of the old song. You hold the space where his struggle loses its power, not through your intervention, but through the sheer magnetic pull of your embodied truth. The moment his internal war exhausts itself, the moment the futility of fighting gravity dawns, he won't just come back, he will remember. He will orient himself naturally, effortlessly, towards the source of the light he's always known, deep in those ancient, echoing cells. This journey isn't about winning him over. It's about both of you waking up to what already is. The separation is the illusion dissolving, not the bond breaking. His path through the shadows is sacred, necessary, and ultimately temporary. Your steady light isn't just a beacon. It's the very atmosphere in which his wings finally dry, strengthen, and remember how to fly with you, not towards or away from you. The dawn is not coming, beloved. It's already breaking. Can you feel its first fragile rays warming the horizon of your spirit? Can you sense, beneath the surface noise of his process, the deep, resonant hum of alignment tuning itself? Keep tending your light. The most profound reunion often looks like a solitary vigil, right up until the moment the whole world shifts, and you realize he was always walking home in the reflection of your own radiant peace.